Good morning and Sairam to all. How are you all? I hope you all are fine. So, in previous video we have started our 5th chapter, that was coal and petroleum. In this video we will go ahead with the same chapter. Before going to start our new topics, what we will do a quick revision what we have learnt in our previous video. So let us start. So in previous video we have done that. What do you mean by natural resources? So what do you mean by natural resources? Those resources which are obtained from nature. Those resources which are obtained from nature is known as your natural resources. Clear? And natural resources can be classified into two types. Natural resources can be classified into two types. Number 1, inexhaustible natural resources. Number 2, exhaustible natural resources. Number 1, inexhaustible natural resources, and number 2, exhaustible natural resources. Inexhaustible natural resources are those resources which are present in unlimited amount in nature. Which are present in unlimited amount in nature, and they can't exhaust by human activities. They can't exhaust by human activities, and these type of resources are known as your inexhaustible natural resources. And what are the example of inexhaustible natural resources? Examples are sunlight, water and air. These all are the example of inexhaustible natural resources. And what is the second type of natural resources? Yes, exhaustible natural resources. Exhaustible natural resources are those resources which are present in limited amount in our nature. Which are present in limited amount in our nature, and if it can be finished by human activities. It can be finished by human activities. Example, your coal, petroleum, coke, they all are the example of your exhaustible natural resources. Now, your exhaustible natural resources is also known as non-renewable resources. It is also known as non-renewable resources. What do you mean by non-renewable resources? Non-renewable resources are those resources which cannot reproduce again. Clear? So, in this chapter, we are going to study three types of exhaustible natural resources, and what they are? They are coal, petroleum and natural gas. We have already done coal. Coal is your black color carbon containing compound. Clear? And we have done that. How it's produced? It produced by buried wastage of plants and living organism for a long time in the earth. And product of coal is coke, coal gas and coal tar. They all are the product of coke. I think with this everything is revised to you. So shall we start our new topics? So what we are going to cover in this video? We are going to cover our second natural resource. And what is this? That is petroleum. Petroleum and refining of petroleum, these are the topic which we are going to cover in this video. So let us start. Petroleum. See, first of all, petroleum is a word which are made up of two words. First is petro plus lium. Okay, petro means rock and lium means oil. So together it is known as petroleum, and you can say petroleum is your rock oil. So petroleum is a dark colored thick crude oil found deep below the ground in certain areas. What do you mean by petroleum? So your petroleum is first of all dark colored. How it appears? It appears in a dark colored thick crude oil. And where it is found? They are found deep below the ground in a certain areas, not in every areas. It is certain area which near around the minerals. Okay. Now, if we are talking about the odor, it has unpleasant odor. If we are talking about the odor, it has unpleasant odor. Number third, the name petroleum means rock oil. I already told you that. The name petroleum means rock oil. Now, it is called petroleum because it is found under the crust of the earth. It is called petroleum because it is found under the crust of earth, trapped in rocks. Clear? Trapped in rocks. Petroleum is not a single compound. If we are talking about the composition of petroleum, petroleum is not a single compound. It is made up of many carbon compounds. Okay? It is made up of many carbon compounds. I am reading once more. First of all, your petroleum is a dark colored, thick crude oil found deep below the ground in certain areas. Second, it has an unpleasant odor. Third, the name petroleum means rock oil. The name petroleum means rock oil. It is called petroleum because it is found under the crust of earth. It is found under the crust of the earth and which is trapped in a rocks, which covers with the different types of rocks. Petroleum is not a single compound. It is made up of many compounds. Clear? So, petroleum is a complex mixture. I told you that it is not a single compound. Complex means it is made up of many compounds. And what compounds are present in petroleum? Hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons means your compounds which are made up of only two elements. One is your carbon and one is your hydrogen. So your petroleum is made up of two types of compounds. One is your hydrogen and one is your carbon. Clear? Now petroleum is insoluble in water. That means if you want to if you will mix water and petrol, it will not mix. Insoluble means it will not mix with the water. Clear? Now petroleum is a natural resources obtained from deep oil wells which are dug in a certain areas of earth. Just like coal, petroleum is also a fossil fuels. Now, petroleum is also called crude oil or mineral oil. Your petroleum is also called as your crude oil and mineral oil. Shall we start? Shall I read once more? So, your petroleum is not a single compound. It is a complex mixture of hydrocarbons. What are the hydrocarbons? Hydrocarbons are those compounds which are made up of hydrogen and carbon. Hydrogen and carbon. And your petroleum is insoluble in water. Your petroleum is insoluble in water. Last one is petroleum is natural resource which are obtained from the deep oil wells which are dug in a certain areas of the earth, just like coke and coal. Clear? And your petroleum is also known as crude oil or mineral oil. Clear this thing? Now, our next topic is how petroleum was formed. Our next topic is how petroleum was formed. So, petroleum was formed by the composition of the remains of tiny plants and animals buried under the sea million years ago. How they are formed? Petroleum was formed by the composition of what? Composition of remains of tiny plants and animals buried under the sea million years ago. After that, it is believed that millions of years ago, a tiny plants and animal which lived in the sea died. Clear? After many years ago, what we have seen that tiny plants and animals which are present under the sea were died. Now their dead bodies sent to the bottom of sea and were soon covered with the mud and sand. Clear? I am reading once more. Petroleum was formed by the composition of the remains of tiny plants and animals buried under the sea million years ago. It is believed that millions of years ago, tiny plants and animals which lived in the sea died. Clear? their dead bodies sent to the bottoms of sea and were soon covered with the mud and sand. Clear? Now, due to the high pressure, clear that mud and sand will produce pressure on that. Heat of action and bacteria, and in the absence of air, that dead remains of tiny plants start decomposition and they convert it into petroleum. Okay, because of what? Because of, yes, high pressure, heat and action of bacteria, that dead plants or dead animals will convert into petroleum. And the petroleum is formed to get trapped between two layers of interperious rock, forming an oil and deposit. And like this, here petroleum is formed. Clear? I think with this, refining how petroleum was formed is clear to you. First, what is the step? Yes, first that dead plants and animals, yes, were buried under the sea. After that, layer of mud and soil will deposit it, and that mud and soil layer, what will they form? They will create pressure, and that action of bacteria and absence of air convert that material, that dead plants and animals, to petrol. Clear? Now our next topic is refining of petroleum. Our topic is refining of petroleum. What do you mean by refining of petroleum? Tell me, what do you mean by refining of petroleum? Yes, the crude petroleum oil. Crude means raw material, raw oil. Clear? It's a complex mixture. I told you that in crude oil, lots of hydrogen compounds and lots of carbon compound present inside it. Now, which is present in the form of solid, liquid and gaseous. Which are present in the form of solid, liquid and gaseous. It is not compulsory that all are present in one state. They can be present in the form of solid, they can be present in the form of liquid, and they can be present in the form of gaseous. Clear? Now, second step is the process of separating crude oil, petroleum oil into more useful fraction is called refining. That means separating of different type of material which are present in a crude oil is known as a refining. Refining means purification of petrol. Clear? So the process of separating crude petroleum oil into more useful fraction is called refining. The refining of petroleum is carried out in the Royal Refinery. The refining of petroleum is carried out in the oil refinery. The crude petroleum oil extracted from oil wells is taken to the oil refinery through pipes. How they can go? They go through the pipes. So, what do you mean by refining of petroleum? Refining of petroleum means purification of petrol. So, how you will purify? First of all, all of you know that petroleum is a complex mixture of hydrocarbon. Petroleum is a complex mixture of hydrocarbon. That means lots of hydrogen and carbon compounds present in it. So, you have to separate these all. So, what you will do? You will, yes, the process, and this process of separating all the compounds in a different fraction is known as your refining. Now, where this happen? Where this occur? This occur in a oil refinery. And how they will go? They will go through the pipes. Clear? They will go through the pipe. Now, in oil refinery, crude petroleum oil is refined into useful fraction, different types of fraction. The separation of petroleum into different direction is done by the process of fractional distillation. How you will separate out? You will separate out the fractional distillation, and this distillation you will learn in higher classes. Now, I have already written over here little bit definition of fractional distillation. Fractional distillation is a process in which fraction of petroleum having different points range are collected differently. Now, as you all know that petroleum is a mixture of hydrocarbons. Now, different types of compound present in it, and all the compounds are having different boiling points. And now, according to their boiling points, they will collect those which are having low boiling point. It will come out first, and those who are having higher, they will come out at last. Clear? Now, and this process is known as your fractional distillation. Now, the various useful fraction obtained by refining of petroleum are, now I told you that there are lots of hydrogen and carbon compounds present inside it. So, if you will fraction it, if you will separate it, the different types of petroleum you will get. Like you will get petroleum gas, petrol, kerosene, diesel, lubricant oil, paraffin wax, bitumen. These all are the products which you obtain by the refining of crude oil of petroleum. Clear? I am reading once more, previous slide also. So here the crude petroleum oil is a complex mixture of solid, liquid and gaseous hydrocarbons. The process of separating crude petroleum oil into more useful fraction is called refining. The refining of petroleum is carried out in the oil refinery. The crude petroleum oil extracted from oil wells is taken to the oil refinery through pipes. Now, in the oil refinery, crude petroleum oil is refined into different useful fractions. The separation of petroleum into different direction is done by the process of fractional distillation. Fractional distillation is a process in which fraction of petroleum having different point ranges are collected separately. The various useful fraction obtained refining of petroleum are petrol gas, petrol, kerosene, diesel, lubricant oil, paraffin wax and bitumen. Now this is a picture of your oil refinery. This is a picture of your oil refinery. Clear? See the pipes from here, like different like crude oil go. Clear? Now I told you that petroleum carries different types of hydrocarbon. First is petroleum gas in liquid. What the uses of this petroleum gas in liquid form? You can use this in fuel for home and industry. It is used as a fuel where for home and industry. Petrol, it is very easy for drive your motor fuel, aviation fuel, solvent for dry cleaning. Dry clean. Kerosene, fuel for stoves, lamps and jet aircrafts. Clear? Diesel, fuel for heavy motor vehicles and electrical generators. Lubricant oil, lubrication. Lubricant oil, lubrication. Paraffin wax, ornaments, candles, Vaseline, etc. Ornaments, candles, Vaseline, etc. Bitumen, paint, road and surfacing. Paint, road and surfacing. So these all are the you can say product which we are obtained after refining of petroleum, and these products we can use in a different field. Okay, because they all are having different types of property. Clear? I am reading once more. Your LPG you can use as a fuel for home and industries. Petrol, motor fuel, aviation fuel, solvent for dry cleaning. Kerosene, fuel for stoves, lamps and for jet aircrafts. Diesel, fuel for heavy motor vehicles, electrical generators. Lubricant oil, lubrication. Paraffin wax, ornaments, candles, Vaseline, etc. Bitumen, paint and road surfacing. Clear? So in this video we have covered petroleum and how petrol formed after refining of petroleum, and after that whatever product you will get, we have done their uses also. So if you have any doubt you can contact me. Have a nice day.